So Boris Johnson has once again refused to admit lockdown laws were broken, despite the Met Police issuing 20 fines over rule-breaking parties.
Joining us now, the International Trade Secretary Anne-Marie Trevelyan. Very good morning to you. I just want to begin with a story that Kate's just referenced in the news. We have the highest cost of living in 3 decades. People really suffering at the moment and facing a huge increase in bills. And we've just found out from Kate that, of course, the VAT on hospitality is going to be restored on Friday. That's going to make it even more expensive for people who are already facing higher bills. As Quentin said this morning, it would drive you to drink, except you can no longer afford a pint. Why are you increasing VAT?
So, as the Chancellor set out in his spring statement, and indeed before that with a £9 billion package of energy support, the government is trying to support families, as you say, with this cost of living crisis in a number of ways. We've also increased the taper relief for universal credit so that the poorest families will see an extra £1,000 in their pockets. And, of course, the household fund has been doubled, so there's £1 billion with councils to support their local
on the universal
families.
credit, that's not an extra £1,000. You've taken away £1,000, so you're just replacing what you took away.
So no, so we've increased that, and coming forward,
£1,000, is it?
So it's moved the taper relief, so that's come through. But also, the Chancellor set out in his spring statement that there will be a change in the national insurance levels, so that will take a number of people out of that national insurance level at the lowest level too. But we are in a really difficult time, and we are all focused on that. And of course, we are also tackling that.
You're increasing national insurance, though. That's a tax rise. The fact that you've changed the threshold when that will come in doesn't eliminate the fact that you're increasing tax. I mean, what you're describing is not currently going to help people. And what I'm asking is, you are restoring the VAT level on hospitality. That's our story this morning. It is another tax rise on hard-working people.
So as your reporter set out, the Chancellor wanted to support hospitality during the really difficult times through COVID, when they were under enormous pressures, and that's why the temporary reduction was brought in. And as we move away, thank goodness, from the challenges of COVID and the pressures on business and back to a more normal way of life. And interestingly, as I travel with my role as Trade Secretary, the UK is far ahead of so many other countries in getting back to normal. And I think that's really great news. And that's thanks to both the Prime Minister and indeed the incredible work that the Chancellor did supporting our businesses through that really difficult time.
Sorry, just to establish, how does the VAT rise help people if it makes it more expensive to go out, and that is going to hurt people and also the businesses?
So bringing it back to its previous level is the decision that the Treasury have taken, because we need to make sure that we can continue forward. These are real pressures, but one of the key challenges, the reasons for these pressures, is, of course, the energy price spike that we've seen. And so we are looking to tackle how we can do that both in the short term, but of course in the medium term as well. And one of the areas we're doing that with is through driving forwards to renewables and clean energy. And that's one of the reasons why we're very excited about the nearly £30 billion investment that we've seen from Australian investors, which I announced yesterday with the Prime Minister, helping us to meet that challenge and driving forwards the UK being world leading in delivering clean energy, which we will be in control of, which I think will be a dramatic change.
That investment is hugely welcome, of course, but for our viewers this morning who are facing an unimaginable cost of living squeeze, terrifying fear of their energy bills, the fact that you're putting VAT back up on hospitality for the weekend, that will be no comfort to them whatsoever, of course, because that doesn't change. Let's just move on to some of the other issues that, of course, are important. We saw Dominic Raab has accepted that there were rules broken in the Partygate situation. 20 fixed penalty notices have been issued by the police. He was talking to Susanna on yesterday's show. This is what he had to say.
Broken at the top of government during lockdown.
Well, if you're referring, Susanna, to the 20 fixed penalty notices handed out by the police, it's clear that that's happened in relation to those individuals concerned, because the law was breached.
Do you accept? Yeah, that's clearly from Dominic Raab, former lawyer, of course. Do you accept that the law was broken?
So that's exactly as Dominic set out yesterday. The Metropolitan Police are working through, and I think they haven't finished yet, setting out where they feel that fines are appropriate, and I have no doubt that the individuals concerned will pay those fines.
Well, 20 have been put in place already, haven't they? 20 have been given.
Yes.
So were the laws broken by those 20 people?
So, as Dominic set out, where those regulations which were set out during COVID were breached,
Can I ask
those
why
fines
you can't
have been
just
issued.
say yes?
Well, so I'm agreeing that, our Justice Secretary's set out exactly that the breach in regulations has resulted in those fines.
Sounds like you're avoiding just saying, yes, the law was broken.
Not at all. I think what's really important also, and because obviously this has caused both distress and a lot of parliamentary noise, is that the Prime Minister's been really clear that once the Metropolitan Police have completed their inquiries, he's asked Sue Gray to come back and publish what will then be, if you like, her full report, so that we're all able to see for ourselves what the evidence she gathered, which obviously is presently with the Metropolitan Police, and the Prime Minister will come back and discuss at that point.
What the Prime Minister has consistently said, in fact, in the House of Commons, is there were no parties. The rules were followed at all times. Guidance was followed at all times. I mean, unfortunately, that is not true. And now we have a situation where instead of just saying, yes, the law was broken at the top of government in Downing Street at a time when we were all complying with the strictest regulations you could imagine outside of wartime, you can't just say laws were broken, fines have been issued. It was outrageous that that happened.
So, as I've said, and indeed as the Justice Secretary set out yesterday, those regulations have been found to have been breached, and the Metropolitan Police have issued those fines, and I have no doubt that those will be paid by those who breach those regulations, and that's quite right, and we need to continue to let the Metropolitan Police complete all the work that they're doing, and the Prime Minister has committed to coming back to the House and asked Sue Gray to present all her evidence once that's completed, and we'll look forward to that.
See any minister, or indeed the Prime Minister, who has broken the law stay in position?
So the Prime Minister has said he will tell the House if there is any fine for him, and we'll wait and see what happens.
And if he's fined and therefore found to have broken the law, should he stay in position?
So I want to wait and see. I want to allow the Metropolitan Police to get on and do their job without endless political interference, and then we can allow the House to look at Sue Gray's report, which the Prime Minister will ask her to complete.
I know we need to let you go, Anne-Marie Trevelyan, but it does feel like you must be getting tired of not just being able to give us a straight answer.
No, I'm really, focused on trying to deliver the work that I've got as Trade Secretary, which is both bringing in inward investment, and we've seen this fantastic £28 billion of investment from Australian investors who are choosing the UK to invest in, because this is one of the best countries in the world with fantastic skills and a commitment to driving forwards a clean energy revolution, which they are investing in. And I want to be making sure that our fantastic businesses are exporting more than they do now across the world, so that we can have all the fantastic goods and services made in the UK sold across the world.
Just tell them to bring extra money for a pint. Anne-Marie Trevelyan, thanks very much indeed for joining us.